Your dad sent you 2 girls in 1 cup?
Yes. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny.
Should have been 5 girls in 3 cups.
Why are we grabbing the weapon out of a holster? For negligence. I know you didn't mean it. We have to charge you.
This episode of the Colion Noir podcast is brought to you by Vetter Holsters. Welcome to another episode of the Colion Noir podcast. And I got my boy back, Erik Lavigne from Two Cops, One Don't. I hate the name of your podcast because of what it registers in my brain anytime I think about saying it.
What registers in your brain?
I'm not going to talk about that because I don't think we have the rating for it.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, I've never actually seen that video.
No. I was in the military active duty when my dad sent it to me. Yeah. I was actually having a party.
Your dad sent you 2 girls in 1 cup?
Yes. So I was having a party, and that was kind of the thing. That's how people first started showing reaction videos to people watching that video.
You know what is so true?
Yeah.
Holy. And I still haven't seen it to this day.
So my dad sends it to me, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And we'd all been drinking. Yeah. And I've got like 30 of my guys with me at my house, and I'm like dry heaving. I'm like, what? Because we've never seen anything like that before.
That was you know what's funny? If that came out now, I think it would do nothing.
Nobody would care.
Nobody would give 2 shits.
They'd be like, fake.
Yeah,
fake,
literally. And, and if it isn't fake, it's like, should have been 5 girls in 3 cups.
So it's funny though, because when I named the podcast, that hadn't even registered in my head. I'll tell you really why I named it what I named it. Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, they have a podcast called Two Bears, One Cave. And I love their podcast. Gotcha. And so I was like, oh, that makes sense. They're 2 big burly dudes, comedians, and they're in their man cave. Like, how can I do the same thing but police-wise? I was like, all right, 2 cops, 1 donut. That makes sense. That's what happened. And then it was like 3 weeks into doing it. Mm-hmm. You know, you've got no following other than your friends. And they're like, bro, that's funny. I was like, yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. And they're like 2 girls, 1 cup. I was like, shit. Okay, I didn't think of that, but that is funny.
Yep.
So I left it.
All right. So I've got to give a quick shout out to Vetter Holsters. They're now sponsoring the podcast. I've been using their light tuck Kydex inside the waistband holster, and what I really like is how adjustable it is. You can tweak the ride height and cant to get it exactly how you want. Plus, they've got holsters for over 450 gun models in 75 different colors, so you can pretty much find whatever you need. But here's the thing that really sets them apart: their customer service. I've heard so many stories about how they've gone above and beyond to make sure you're happy with your holster. And with a lifetime warranty and a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's clear they stand behind their products. If you're in the market for a great holster, check them out at betterholsters.com. That's why I'm going to name this podcast 2 Guns, 1 Magazine.
I like it. Yeah. You can never have enough guns.
No, you really can't. But you can never have enough magazines.
That's what they say. You need both.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
But we wanted to have, I think we both wanted to have you on here.
Okay.
To talk about that video that we saw of the cop shooting the guy after she was trying to, unarm him. I'm not going to lie. I saw that video. When I first saw the video, I was kind of sort of drinking. I don't know how you kind of sort of drink, but.
Right.
Yeah. And I just remember being enraged.
Yeah.
Like, I was legit enraged. And I called my business partner. I was like, did you? Because he's the one that sent me the video.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is some bullshit. Just the most inarticulate rant you could possibly think of, right? Yeah. That would never actually make it on my YouTube channel because it would just been bad.
Right. Yeah.
That said, from your perspective as a cop, like, what went through your mind when you first saw it?
So we're in Texas. Mm-hmm. I won't say where I work. Everybody knows that I don't do that. But cop in Texas, we're pro-gun. Now, this happened in Florida, so I was under the same assumption. Yeah. It was the same thing. For me, you need to be used to dealing with armed people as a cop. And in Texas, if I try to disarm every single person I pull over for a traffic violation, I'm going to be wrapped up on traffic violations for a long time. Yeah. So seeing a completely cooperative person, I mean, as cooperative as you could hope for as a police officer, telling you he's armed, showing you where it's at, keeping his hands up. Yeah, whatever you need me to do. Oh, you need me to roll down the windows? I got you. So him doing all of these steps, that shows me cooperation. Mm-hmm. That doesn't make my spidey senses go off. I've got 2 other officers with me. So being alone isn't an excuse. Yeah. Why are we disarming him? We are at a tactical advantage with him sitting with a holstered weapon versus him getting out of the car and us losing a little bit of control. So why are we disarming him? What I think it is, and this goes into the culture of policing and training and the vast disparities in changes of police training. I think, and this is me speculating, but I think at that department, that was a common practice. And it had never been questioned. It was like, well, okay, well, that's just what we do. Oh, for our safety and yours, do you mind if we take your weapon and then we'll continue after, we'll give it back to you, everything like that. And that was just how they did it. Nobody really thought that process through, possibly. And I actually would kind of get it if maybe there's multiple occupants in the car and now our attention has to be divided and all that stuff. Maybe. But I don't like it. I think it's unconstitutional, for one. What if shit goes down right now? What if shit goes down?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with that cop or that person.
Yeah.
Now he has no way to defend himself, which really pisses me off. So why, for running a red light, are we taking somebody's weapon? We have his ID.
Why do you even need to get out of the car?
Right, yeah. Why get him out of the car?
That was my question. It's like, why even bother having him get out?
And then we didn't even get to the part of the actual taking of the weapon and that buffoonery that occurred. Why are we grabbing the weapon out of a holster? It was just a basic holster.
It's just that basic neoprene.
Take the holster out with the gun in it.
So I didn't hear, but I was kind of skimming through some comments on one of the videos about it. And somebody mentioned something. I was like, that actually might be true. So those neoprene holsters, right? They're really good on, really good on sweatpants. Okay. Because those, even though I hate those clips, I hate them generally speaking, but they're good on sweatpants because they're really tight, right? And so, but the problem is taking them off is really hard because, I'm gonna say really hard, but hard because it's really tight and you don't have, since on your sweatpants, I'm wearing sweatpants, that's why I keep doing this, but you don't have the lever, there's nothing sturdy enough for you to kind of brace it against to pull the clip and pull it out. Even though so what you have to do is you kind of have to get under the clip a little bit, pull out with a little bit of the pressure of your hand, and then just slide up. It's easy. It's easy and simple if you know what you're doing. And somebody mentioned she didn't want to break her fingernails.
That is something that I wouldn't even consider.
Because I kind of saw her fiddling around with it a little bit and kind of almost like, I don't really know exactly how to take this off. And she would have to get her fingernails underneath that clip to get it off, or kind of put her hand against his side and then just kind of lift it up. Like I said, it's a simple way to get it off. Right. But it would require her to kind of slide her nails underneath the clip, which in my mind goes to just ask one of the officers to help you take it out. Right. Like I just didn't understand the whole concept of, like you pointed out, taking the gun out of the holster. It was so unnecessary.
Right. And that ultimately is what led to the negligent discharge, because she put her fingers inside the trigger. Like, I paused it. When we did a breakdown of it, I paused it. I'm like, because it, you kind of had to, and you could see clear as, I think she had two fingers inside there.
Yeah, she was kind of trying to, because the gun was sitting, because the funny thing is those clips, those neoprene holster clips work great on sweatpants, but that holster style sucks with sweatpants. One, because it causes the gun to sit way too low in the sweatpants. And so then you have the grip of the gun almost kind of partially inside of the sweatpants a little bit. So then I think with her, she was trying to fish it out. Right. And then that's, like you said, it looked like she had two fingers in there. She was trying to grip it and pull it out, and inevitably ended up shooting the guy in the leg.
So let me push back on you from your legal expertise. Do we charge the officer?
Are we asking the lawyer me, or are we asking the emotional me?
I'm asking lawyer you.
The lawyer me. The lawyer me would make the argument that there are so many people who carry firearms in Florida that it is not uncommon to come across people who do carry firearms. And as a result, you should know on a basic level how to disarm somebody with a gun without shooting them in the leg. So then that goes to tell me, that says so that you engage in a certain level of negligence. If you couldn't do it yourself, you had officers there who could do it for you. And so, but you took it upon yourself to proceed and continue to proceed to try to take this gun out of this holster when, one, you didn't need to take it out of the holster. Two, you couldn't take the holster off by itself. And three, you refused to ask for help. And to me, that rises to a level of negligence that makes it plausible to charge.
I would argue that if it was Joe Blow's citizen, that this same thing occurred, we would be charging them. So in my mind, and this might make some cops mad.
What would you be charging them with?
Probably at the lowest level I could find.
Yeah.
Do I think she intended that? No.
I didn't
see the
either.
reaction.
Yeah.
But it's no different than when we get in an accident for running a red light.
Yeah.
You're going to get charged if you hurt somebody. That's just what's going to happen. Yeah. So in this case, your negligence, I know you didn't mean it. We have to charge you.
Yeah.
Now let the courts figure it out. Let the system go through. Yeah. You may not get anything major. You sure shouldn't be a cop.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
You're done.
I think there's no question.
You can't be a cop anymore. Yeah. It doesn't matter. End of the day, that's like the number one rule. Don't shoot the wrong people.
Exactly. Now, I like if they did charge her and she ended up going to court, I don't think it would win.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think she has the culpable mindset, the culpable mental state to actually be convicted.
Right.
But yeah, I would charge her.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
And like I said, there'll be some cops that get a little riled up because I said that. Oh, you're a cop. Like, no, listen, we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. So that higher standard means, well, if you would have charged a regular citizen of that, we have to charge her. That doesn't mean she's going to go to prison.
Yeah.
I am with you. I don't think that she did it intentionally at all. But you cannot, in good conscience, say that, oh, because it's a cop, we're not going to. What does the victim want too? I think that's important. If the victim's like, no.
Well, what if we? So I'm going to make a vicarious liability argument, right? So what if the argument was, well, was she ever properly trained on how to disarm somebody, and did her police department train her appropriately and to the extent that she needed to disarm a potential suspect whenever she encountered it? So then that could become a question too.
I can tell you right now, I have 18 years of law enforcement. I've never been trained how to take a weapon off of somebody.
Which is crazy because a lot of people would assume you have.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, you never know where the hell you're going to get a weapon at.
Yeah,
it could be in a pocket. It could be in a waistband, down by their ankle, in their ass crack.
It's true. That's a good point. I think because my mind goes, okay, well, I know how to disarm people because I'm so used to disarming myself. But I'm also privy to I've used every type of force you could possibly deal with. I've shot every gun you could possibly shoot. So my knowledge set and know-how is light years ahead of most cops in terms
more
of
than
stuff
me.
like that. Yeah. So then that begs the question, right? So now I'm like, okay, so maybe I pull back a little bit and I say, okay, maybe the vicarious liability side of it is maybe too much in terms of, training. Like you're right. Like how many situations do you train an officer to take a gun off of someone? Man, it's my mind then goes to, okay, well, what kind of she got? See, because then my mind goes, okay, she carries outside the waistband as a cop, but does she carry inside the waistband off duty?
But it's a simple argument. What is the basic rule of firearms? Keep your booger finger off the bang switch.
That is true.
So
that is true. So
no matter what you say,
it still comes back to
that.
Yep. That is actually true because I remember it's a little bit different because he was engaging in reckless behavior when he did it, so he got the involuntary manslaughter. But Jason Williams, when he shot his limo driver. I don't know if you remember.
Athlete.
Yeah, I remember following that case really close. Yeah, he was a basketball player. And I remember I followed that case really closely. I don't know why. But he was kind of flipping the gun and then didn't know it was loaded, and then the gun went off and shot and killed his driver.
Oh, it actually killed him.
Yes,
I didn't follow that close.
And he went to prison. Voluntary manslaughter. Yeah. So my mind goes, begs the question. Let's say this guy, let's say he was carrying appendix, right? Like I mentioned in my video when I did it.
Like I am right now.
Yeah. Like me right now too. And I think, Peter, you carry appendix? Yeah. And she did the same thing. Now, it probably wouldn't have been hurt. Well, actually, maybe. Would that be a male on male kind of thing? Because I'm going into this whole y'all know where I'm going. But anyway, so, and let's say she did the same thing there, but the gun goes off, hits him in the femoral artery, and he dies.
You're going to prison.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like there would be no question.
Yeah.
Everything's the same except he just didn't die this time.
Yeah. Now, I think the important part for this, anytime we have a tragedy, which, this guy lived, everything's good. It's still tragic that he got shot. how do we improve? What do we do from here on out to make sure this doesn't happen again? One, I would say, take a serious look at the statistics of leaving somebody in their vehicle, just keeping eyes on, keeping the hands where you can see them. You know, as long as I don't see yours, you're not going to see mine. So that's kind of the mentality I would personally prefer. Now, I don't want it to seem like I'm Monday morning quarterbacking. That's not my intent. My intent is anytime we have something bad, we can learn and improve from it. So learning and improving from this is taking a look at when somebody's armed in the car and you know they're armed, what are the steps from there? Like for you, who's not a cop, like what's reasonable to you as a citizen?
As far as disarming me?
Right.
Honestly, I would prefer that the cops let me get out of my vehicle and let me take my own gun off and I hand it to them. Right. Not the gun, but the holster.
Right.
That's how I would prefer it personally, largely because of what happened, and because like who knows what kind of gun I'm carrying. Right. So I don't want to leave the chances of having an ND to somebody else and them NDing into my leg. Like that's just not a risk I want to take.
Now you have case law that you're not as safe as you hope you were.
And I wouldn't care if they pulled their guns out of the holster, had it at the ready, pointing down at, just low ready, and waited for me to unholster.
But there's a lot of people that would be very nervous about a cop unholstering.
Yeah, I'm talking about myself personally,
for you,
right? And I could see that too,
yeah.
Right? So I think at bare minimum, because you're right, there are so many different ways that people carry, but I think at bare minimum, I think there should be some instructions from departments to cops, at least going forward. If you are going to disarm somebody, take the entire holster.
Yeah.
With the gun in the holster.
Agreed.
Do everything in your power not to have to remove the gun from the holster. And that avoids all of this.
Yes.
Right?
Now, there are some holsters where the belt loop and the belt goes right through it and it's closed off and you can't take it.
There's that. Right?
So now I'm of the matter. I'm like, all right, if I want to get creative, can you just pop the mag? I know there's one hold, but yeah. Can you just pop the mag? At least I know you can only shoot me once.
But then that does become a question, though, too, because it's like, well, then how would he unholster? He'd have to take the gun out of the holster.
Sometimes.
Right.
Like me right now, I could reach down and pop my mag out.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So, but
you still have one in the chamber.
But you still got one hold, yeah. So
you can die with one bullet.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well played shot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting one. But it speaks to the complexity of the job as an officer, and also the complexities and the realities of being somebody at the bequest of an officer, interacting as a civilian. And so I think, that's the thing. I was going to say, do that many people walk around with holsters that are permanently attached to their body where you would have to take? But then again, who knows?
Yeah.
Right? Who knows? So
that's why I'm of the opinion it's just easier to leave them seated in the vehicle.
Yeah.
They're at a tactical disadvantage. They would have to make some big furtive movements to get to that gun.
Especially where he was carrying.
Right.
Because he was carrying, his right side?
Yeah.
So and he was a driver, he was carrying right side. It smashed in between. That's why I stopped carrying right side, honestly. Smashed between the center console and there. So, to get to the gun, and I've practiced this before. It's like you have to, it's very overt movements. It's like, whereas I could see appendix carry, where it's here. Yeah. But even still, that's still very overt movements.
It's difficult as a cop when you're sitting in your patrol car.
That's true.
Like, you got to be seat belted in most of the time. Yeah. And now your holster is over here with a seat belt going over top of it. Getting to your weapon is damn near impossible.
Have you ever had a situation where you needed to get to your weapon within your car?
From inside my car? Yes. Yes, several times.
How was that?
Eye-opening. Like, you realized real quick that you've prepared for a lot of situations, but you didn't quite think that one through. Yeah. So then it became I've got a quick release holster. Do I release it? Do I get a secondary gun that stays in the vehicle at all times? Do I tilt my holster forward?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I want to keep my draw consistent, so I went with the keeping a second gun.
Yeah, that's funny because I did that at one point. I used to think the same way because I'm like, it's gonna be faster for me to have a gun at the ready and then have one on me, and then if I'm in my car, something goes down, I can get to it quickly, boom, and do what I need to do. Yeah. The problem is it has to stay in the car when I leave the car.
Yeah.
And I can, I found ways around it where I lock it in my life pod case. Shameless plug.
What's a life pod case?
My life pod, it's like the travel size electric case. Basically, it's designed to transport firearms.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you fly with those?
Yeah, yeah, it's CSA approved. Yeah, that's how I fly every single time.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise you, this is not staged. He really did.
I really don't know what that is. So
do
cool.
we have one in here?
No.
I don't think I brought one in here.
Okay.
But yeah, so it basically it's electric. You have your numbers. You put your passcode in there, or fingerprint, and then opens. Get to your gun. Do what you need to do.
I would love that because I get tired of. I go to the airport. I have to travel with my firearm a lot because I do what's called Brotherhood for the Fallen. Anytime an officer is violently killed in the line of duty, we will go bring a monetary donation to that family.
Gotcha.
Because when an officer dies, they don't get that insurance claim right away.
Yeah.
It takes like a year. So we try to give them some money up front right away so they have something to lean on while they're going through everything they go through. Well, when we do that, we got our full uniform, we got a whole kit. So got to bring a firearm with you. And I can tell you that the airports are not the kindest to your bags and all that. So
Oh, you didn't hear what happened to mine?
Somebody take your gun?
No, but they could have. So when I got back from SHOT Show, and they usually, whenever you check a firearm, because I always check a firearm, it comes out in the oversized luggage area.
Okay.
And so I'm going over there, I'm standing there, and I'm waiting. Everybody's bags come out. And there were a couple people there who were also from SHOT, so we all knew each other, right?
Yeah.
My suitcase comes out, because I usually keep my life pod case inside it. I check it in my suitcase.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it comes out, and my suitcase is open. I mean, just
open?
Just open. I mean, it's closed, but it's open.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The locks are off. And so, and then like there's clothes spilling out. I can literally see the sheath of a knife that I had inside of the suitcase hanging out. Like, I'm like, you got to be fucking kidding me. And so I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, and then my suitcase is completely dented up. And yes, I have one of those bougie Rimowa cases. So it's like aluminum. And
right.
Yeah. So it's bent the hell up. Right. And then one of my locks is broken off. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So I go in, I open it. I'm like, I see my gun still in there in the case, open case, everything's still there. The knife is still there too. But yeah, my suitcase is
like, what if you hadn't been in there right then?
Exactly.
The potential for your gun and probably a cool knife being out there.
And that's the only reason why I would be there, considering, I mean, yeah, there's golf clubs and oversized stuff, but for a suitcase, if you see a suitcase in the oversized luggage side, that means there's something in there that they couldn't bring on the plane.
Yeah.
i.e. a gun. So
dang.
Yeah. Now I keep an air tag inside of my.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always know, and I actually the weird thing is I got this idea from Peter, which is crazy.
Thank you
had a
very
good
much.
idea.
I know, right?
Hey, I got a lot of them.
And so I have air tags everywhere. Like I have an air tag inside of that when I travel. Meaning, so I have an air tag inside of my life pod case, and then that goes inside my suitcase, and then usually I have a Pelican case that I check with all my camera gear and equipment. I put a air tag in there too.
Smart.
And so usually when I land, I kind of always know where my bag is. So I just kind of pull it up on my phone. I'm like, okay, it's here. And that's kind of know when it's there. Yeah. And so I guess if somebody took it, I kind of know where they were, because it would take some time for them to actually break into the case.
Right.
And so that's kind of that's the way I typically kind of travel.
Okay.
In that regard, I posted it on my social media, and some people were telling me, well, I had some guy who works at the airport, and he was like, more than likely what happened is that the suitcase fell off the trolley thing.
Okay.
And then when it fell off, it broke, and then broke the lock.
Right.
And it kind of fell open, and they just kind of that kind of deal. The funny thing is, I submitted a claim and they denied it.
Let me guess, American? Because they lost my stuff so many times. Yeah. We travel to the islands quite a bit, in the Bahamas and Caribbean.
And the thing is, and the funny thing is, on the way there, I was like, I love American. And then now I'm like,
Delta it is.
Cool thing is, I mean, Rimowa reached out to me.
Who's that?
The suitcase company.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they reached out to me. I don't know what they want. Like they say they're going to put me in touch with someone, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, I tag them, but
right. Yeah.
But yeah, so we'll see what happens.
I don't think
with that.
Disney would do anything for me on my suitcase. I have a giant Boba Fett suitcase.
I don't think they. Yeah, I think you should have luck in that regard. Yeah.
I love it, man. It's awesome. Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a little disconcerting, when I got back.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
I definitely want to check out the life. I need something.
Yeah.
We know a guy, so maybe we can hook you up.
Yeah.
All right, I'll try them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
It's my own version of it.
What's up with the AK?
What do you mean?
Come on, man.
What are you talking about? What's wrong with it?
I'm not a fan.
You're not an AK. You're one of those. Oh, you're one of those people.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You don't know how many friends I have who are like that.
As I say that, I've got like a Barrett 50 cal on my shirt. I have no idea who even makes that one. So
I know the guy.
You know that guy?
Yeah. The funny thing is, I roll my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, you're one of those guys. And then I have friends who are like that, and like the reason they're like that is because they were getting shot at by them. So it's like,
let me tell you about the best shot I've ever seen, and it was with an AK. It's me and my military buddies were out, and everybody brings their guns out. We're shooting at a range. Well, guess what runs across the field? A little rabbit. So all these military guys are like starting to drool, and I'm like, relax. The guy with the AK
oh my God,
turns, hip fires, one shot.
Stop it. Hip fire?
Hip fire, one shot, probably 110, 115 yards.
You think that was luck, or he
luck as hell?
Okay.
Oh, man. Lucky as shit. Lucky as hell. Tennyson, that's his name. I'll say it out loud. If he's listening to this, Tennyson was the dude that did it. I cannot believe it to this day. So
I have to ask the juvenile question. End of the world scenario, and you can only have one type of rifle. What are you taking?
AK.
Okay.
I'm not stupid. I'm not stupid. I appreciate what it is. I just don't prefer it.
Do you know how many times in my mind I have gone over the scenario and tried to convince myself why it should be some type of AR pattern rifle, and I can't, and I always end up going back to the AK.
How do you not? If you're going to discover some loose rounds somewhere, they're going to be 7.62s.
Yeah. Well, it depends where you are. Not here, not stateside. But and then again, I don't know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I think you're more inclined to find 223, 556, right?
Yeah.
But if you're telling me it's the end of the world and this is the only rifle I have to move across the world, then yes, I'm bringing an AK.
Right. Yeah.
Like all day long.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's just propaganda. Have we become victim of the propaganda of the AK?
Probably. Absolutely. I mean, people have told me that your AR platform is going to jam up and not, an AK can be dragged through the mud and be fine.
Yeah.
I've witnessed the same from ARs that are taken care of.
That's what Bill was the caveat.
Taken
care of, right? Yeah. So I think there's something to be said about that. I mean, because in my mind I go, okay, if I did do an AR pattern, I would do a piston system instead of the DI, fired, right? Yeah. But then people go, well, it's proprietary parts. If things break down, you won't be able to find this,
right?
Which is true.
Yeah.
But I'm like, damn, we can't win on the AR side.
I've heard some people make good arguments for carrying a 22.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just carrying a 22 around. I'm like,
yeah, but my inner tactical won't let me do it.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends. End of world scenario. Are you looking to win or are you looking to survive? Lay down some rounds, get the fuck out of there.
I didn't think about it that far.
Yeah.
I just thought it was fun to think about what gun I was going to use.
You brought it. You opened the door. I've been with a bunch of bored troops, and this is the discussions we had.
The problem is like, okay, well, what 22 rifle are you going to use in that regard? Like, you might as well just carry an AR because it's going to be probably within the same size range. You're going to be limited in capacity,
right? And
then it's not reliable.
With a conversion kit, maybe.
Yeah, that might work.
You could do that.
Yeah, but then at that point, you just get an AR or both. I mean, you're in that same size range, right? Right. Caliber to a degree.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, then I can carry more rounds. It's probably more reliable.
Yeah.
I think you can make the argument for carrying a 5 to 7 inch barreled AR.
Oh yeah.
Right. Because I know a lot of people are like, why? Who needs that? But I'm like,
I mean, you're gonna give your position away, but.
Yeah. But I mean, but now I'm thinking about living with it.
Yes.
Right. So now I'm like, I got to carry this thing everywhere all the time.
Matters,
yeah. It's
size,
so it's like, make it nice and compact. And then in that type of scenario, I don't probably I like the idea of people not really knowing I have a gun on me. So if I can make that rifle have rifle power, but as small as possible, I think that. But I think I probably would end up doing like a Rattler with a 5.56 conversion barrel.
Hell yeah!
And then that's probably what I would do. I would have a 5.56 conversion upper. And then
integrally suppressed?
No. See, here's the thing.
No?
So I would have an upper 5.56 223, and then I would have a 300 blackout upper too.
Okay.
So the 300 blackout upper is and that would be suppressed, running subs, so I can be as quiet as I need to be.
Quiet and short.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep.
I'm with you. I have a 300 black. That's my shorty, but I don't have it integrally suppressed yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. So then, what's your apocalypse pistol? It's got to be a Glock, 9mm. It has to be. If your logic
you know how you feel about the AK. That's how I felt. Like I don't want it to be the Glock.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
I don't.
Following your logic and reasoning, it's got to be a Glock.
There is a gun I think might. My mind is starting to more. As time goes on, the more I use it.
Well, nobody knows better than you. So tell me.
The Springfield Echelon.
I don't even think I've seen that one.
Yeah, I mean it's basic. They're gonna be mad.
Is it gonna be like a 2011?
Can you pull that up, Peter?
No. Build?
No, it's basically their Glock.
Oh,
okay. It's so nice.
Okay.
But if I had to choose a Glock, it would be a Glock 19X.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my favorite Glock.
I haven't messed with the X yet. I have a 19. That's actually what I've got in my 945 Industries holster I got over here. Shout out.
The 19 actually is would probably be better than my 19X, just because you have a shorter grip, so it's easier to conceal and smaller.
Okay.
And then if I just wanted the capacity, I'll just put a larger mag in it. Fair. But I just love the 19X, the way it fit ergonomically.
Yeah.
The way the way it shoots, I prefer it.
Have you done anything to it?
Right now I'm getting.
Let me guess. You got your Gucci Leupold on there.
Yeah.
Always.
See, but look at that thing. Like that. I love that thing.
I know.
It shoots better than a Glock. It feels better than a Glock. The only thing it has not going for it is the enough time for it to be considered as reliable.
Okay.
That's the only thing, because it's new.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I see what you're saying on the handle too.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. I love it. I just did a video on the compact version, which is the 19 size.
Okay.
Because that's more like the Glock 17 size.
That's their full?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate the Glock 17.
Okay, that's what I carry on duty. I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not carrying it in a personal way.
Gotcha.
In the holsters on duty, like
if I was on duty, that's what I would carry if I could.
Right.
It would be that. It would be Springfield Echelon. Me in that 17 grip angle, something about it, I can't. You know really what it is? I can't shoot it well. No matter what, I cannot shoot a Glock 17 well. That's comparatively to my other guns.
Right. Like when you came shooting with us that one night, that's what I was shooting, was my 17.
Gotcha. Okay.
And you just get put so many rounds down it, like it's just instinctual. So for me, everything I carry is a Glock, because for me, I don't want to confuse my brain. If shit hits the fan, I want it to always be consistent.
I tell people that all the time. And with this, I have a rotation of guns, but the reason I do is because I review guns. So right.
Yeah.
But then also I have them too, because sometimes I want to go really small or really big, and so. But I go to the range enough that I can. I train with the most complicated gun, so that every other gun that I have in a rotation is easy.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I train with my Staccato CS. And so but hear me out.
No, I'm jealous. We are allowed to carry those now.
Gotcha.
So it's a dream gun that I can carry on duty. I just can't afford them because you have to pay for it. They'll issue Glocks, but if you want a Staccato, you got to pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, and the thing for me is I know once I've trained the reps to drop that safety, now even to this day, if I go to draw a gun that doesn't have a safety, I'm still sweeping off, even though there's nothing there.
Gotcha.
Because because at any point I could be carrying that gun,
and it's not hurting you to do the motion.
It makes it ever so slightly slower on the draw,
right?
But it's still as fast as me drawing with my CS, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I could draw a non-safety gun faster, but yeah.
I got you. Yeah. Fair enough.
All right, but yeah, well, next time we go to the range, I'll let you try my CS out.
Yeah. Hell yeah, brother. That's what I'm talking about.
Sir. Well, all right, that was a episode of. Why do I act like? Do we do enders?
Yeah, you say, hey, thanks for coming out.
Oh, all right. Well, thanks for coming out on the podcast.
Anytime, sir.
That was another episode of the Colion Noir podcast. Sue me. Jesus, all these formalities.
That's hilarious.